It's a wake-up call that you and I as a church ought to stop our squabbling. Stop our dissatisfaction. And join forces for the good and the right. Instead of us trying to outdo the other on Facebook posts or arguing about this or that, what we ought to do, church, is band together and pray until once again we have a fresh revelation of God upon our people. The second part of this law says this: no vision of God, we lose self-restraint. We simply become one that does our own thing in our own way. We are not accountable, nor do we care what others may think. We run wild in our lives and our pursuits. What happens when God does not speak or people do not listen? A perfect example of that is found in the book of Judges. In fact, it's actually found in two different places. It's found in Judges chapter 17, verse 6, and the very last chapter, verse 21. And it's almost identical in both places. In those days, there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Wow. No vision, no God. No vision of God, we lose self-restraint. I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but people, we see that today. But boy, wouldn't it be horrible if I ended right here? And wouldn't it be horrible if what we quote out of this verse is it ended the verse, where there is no vision, the people perish? God doesn't end there. He says, but happy. Notice that. But the righteous, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. There's a second concept that I think in the second law that we need to follow. The law of know God, K-N-O-W, we know real freedom. The law of knowing God is knowing real freedom. Again, this law has two important concepts that I think we need to look at quickly. Number one, a vision of God requires a careful guarding. The writer of this proverb states that one must keep the law of God. That word keepeth means to guard. This is not just a job to do when you feel like it. This is a job to do moment by moment and day by day, guarding our life. This is not some ritualistic requirement. It is not legalism. This is simply asking God to guide you this day and every day as we walk out our walk with God. When you know what God wants, then be careful to do it by guarding that knowledge.